Yawning. Someone yawns across the room and suddenly your mouth is wide open too. You didn't decide to do that. Nobody asked you to. Your brain just copied the file automatically. Yawning is contagious, and scientists think it's linked to empathy circuits in the brain. The same mirror neuron systems that make you flinch when you watch someone get hurt also make you yawn when someone else does. Even reading the word yawn can trigger it. But here's the part nobody agrees on: why we yawn in the first place. The leading theory is that it regulates brain temperature, cooling it down when it starts to overheat. So yawning is basically your skull running a cooling fan. Loud, embarrassing, and impossible to suppress in a quiet meeting. Sneezing. 1 second you're fine. The next, your entire body violently expels air at up to 160 kilometers per hour while you lose all control of your face. That's a sneeze. When an irritant, dust, pollen, a stray hair hits the nasal lining, trigeminal nerve signals fire to the brainstem, which coordinates a full system response. Your lungs compress, your eyes clamp shut, your throat opens, and everything launches out in one coordinated blast. You cannot sneeze with your eyes open. Your brainstem simply won't allow it. It's an automatic protective lockdown. Think of it as your body force quitting an irritating program, except the whole operating system has to reboot for half a second to do it. Déjà vu. You walk into a room you've never been in before, and the overwhelming sense hits you that you have definitely been here before. Everything feels familiar, but you haven't. That's déjà vu. The most widely supported explanation involves a brief misfiring in the hippocampus, the brain region that processes memory. A fragment of the new scene, a smell, a layout, a sound, gets processed through the familiarity system a split second before the full scene is consciously registered. Your brain essentially stamps something as a memory before you finished experiencing it. It's your filing system mislabeling a new document as an old one. The sensation fades almost immediately, which makes sense because the error corrects itself the moment the rest of your brain catches up. Blushing. Someone puts you on the spot in front of a group of people and your face immediately betrays you, turning red in real time for everyone to witness. Blushing is caused by the sympathetic nervous system, the same fight or flight network that handles stress. Under social pressure, it triggers tiny muscles in facial blood vessels to relax, flooding the cheeks with blood. What makes blushing uniquely cruel is that it's the only physiological stress response that is triggered specifically by social attention. You can't blush alone in the dark. It only activates when someone is watching. And the more you think about the fact that you're blushing, the worse it gets. It's a feedback loop with an audience. Phantom vibration. Your phone is in your pocket. You feel it buzz. You pull it out. Nothing. No notification. No missed call. No message. Phantom vibration syndrome is your brain pattern matching on noise that isn't there. Your nervous system is so conditioned to expect the sensation of a vibrating phone that it starts generating false positives, interpreting random muscle twitches or fabric movement as a notification. Studies suggest it affects the majority of smartphone users. Your brain has essentially added a background process that runs constantly, monitoring for phone vibrations, and that process is not particularly accurate. It's autocorrect, but for your nervous system, and it keeps correcting nothing into something. Earworms. A song gets into your head, and now it won't leave. It loops over and over. The same 8 bars, the same chorus, sometimes a fragment so short it barely qualifies as music. That's an earworm, and it happens because of how your auditory cortex processes musical patterns. When you hear a song with a strong repetitive hook, your brain encodes it as an unresolved loop. The auditory cortex keeps replaying it, trying to complete the pattern or reach a satisfying endpoint that never comes. Upbeat songs with unexpected intervals are the worst offenders. The frustrating part is that trying to suppress an earworm actively makes it louder. Your brain treats the suppression attempt as a reason to keep the loop running. The most effective fix is to let the song play to its natural end. Syncope. You stand up too fast, and for a second, the world dims. Your vision grays at the edges. Your legs feel uncertain. That lightheaded crash is called orthostatic hypotension, and it happens because gravity wins briefly. When you go from sitting or lying to standing, blood pools in the lower body. Your heart and blood vessels have to rapidly compensate by constricting vessels and increasing heart rate to push blood back up to the brain. Sometimes the adjustment is too slow. The brain gets a brief drop in blood flow and starts shutting down non-essential functions. Vision dims first because it's the most energy-expensive system you run. Standing up too fast is essentially asking your cardiovascular system to solve a physics problem in under 2 seconds. Sometimes it needs a moment. Stomach growling. You're sitting in a complete completely silent room during a meeting, a lecture, a first date, and your stomach decides to make a loud, prolonged announcement to everyone present. Stomach growling, technically called borborygmy, happens when your digestive muscles contract and push gas and fluid through the intestines. This happens constantly, but when your stomach is empty, there's no food to muffle the sound. The walls of an empty stomach amplify the movement into something that sounds far more dramatic than it is. Your digestive system doesn't know you're in a quiet room. It's just doing maintenance, pushing air through the pipes, completely indifferent to your social situation. It's your gut running a scheduled background process with no awareness of the current context. Lacrimation from spicy food. You take a bite of something aggressively spicy and suddenly your eyes are watering like you just watched a deeply emotional film. No sadness involved, your tear ducts just launched. Capsaicin, the compound in chili peppers, binds to pain receptors in your mouth and throat called TRPV1 receptors. Your nervous system reads this as tissue damage and triggers a full defense response. Mucus production increases, your nose runs, and your lacrimal glands activate to flush out what the brain has categorized as a potential threat. Your eyes are crying because your brainstem filed the spice as an emergency, and the tear response is part of the cleanup protocol. You're not emotional, you're just running a false alarm that your body takes completely seriously. Microsleep. You're sitting in a meeting, eyes open, and suddenly 5 seconds vanish. You weren't asleep, you weren't daydreaming, you were just gone. That's microsleep. Brief involuntary episodes of sleep lasting anywhere from 1 to 30 seconds that occur when the brain is severely underrested. The brain doesn't fully shut down. Instead, specific regions drop offline while others stay active, which is why you can appear awake while your conscious processing has temporarily disconnected. Your brain prioritizes its own recovery so aggressively that it will steal fractions of a second from waking life to get it. Microsleep is most dangerous behind the wheel because the body keeps functioning while the driver stops being present. It's your system force logging out without asking for permission, the urge to squeeze cute things. You see an absurdly cute animal, a baby, a chubby-cheeked anything, and without understanding why, you feel an overwhelming urge to squeeze it, not to hurt it, just to compress it somehow. Researchers call this cute aggression, and it's a documented psychological response studied at Yale University. The theory is that when something triggers an extreme positive emotional reaction, the brain simultaneously generates a counter response to regulate it. Essentially, your brain gets so overloaded by cute that it reaches for an opposing impulse to balance itself out. It's an emotional circuit breaker. The squeezing urge is not aggression in the traditional sense. It's your brain buffering. Too much adorable input, system overloads, counter impulse deploys, and you're left wanting to squish something you genuinely love. So the next time your body does something completely bizarre without asking you first, just remember, you're running millions of years of evolutionary code on hardware that was never designed to sit at a desk and stare at screens all day. Glitches are basically expected. If you enjoyed this one, the like button is right there, and it responds much faster than your nervous system does. Subscribe for more and drop in the comments which glitch caught you off guard. See you next time.